Gatwick is the second largest airport in the UK, and numerous flights land from the Caribbean every day.
Slow this one a little bit. Thank you.
Officers are observing passengers from a Trinidad and Tobago flight, and sniffer dog Lucy is using her sensitive nose to search for traces of drugs. A lone female passenger has caught the eye of officers, so she's pulled over in the customs channels to answer a few questions about her visit to the Caribbean.
Do you know anybody out in Trinidad and Tobago? Do you have friends out there?
I visited a friend in Tobago.
Oh, right, OK, so you stayed with him or her?
Yeah.
Is it a lady or a man?
It's a man.
A man, OK, right. OK, so you've come back. These are all your bags, are they? This and this here? You know everything that's in these bags. You pack them yourself? Do you know it's...
But the woman starts to get upset because she's already had her bag searched in Trinidad and Tobago.
Did you pay for your trip yourself?
My friend paid.
Oh, your friend who lives out there, is it? OK.
And I don't think he's a drug dealer.
OK.
Officer John is immediately alarmed by the woman's last comment.
Do you use drugs or anything, or does your friend use drugs as far as you're aware?
What do you mean drugs?
Class A, what we call Class A, cocaine, heroin?
Never used any drugs.
That's great. Thank you for letting me know.
A swab test is carried out on the woman's suitcase.
OK, wait me one moment.
The test will show whether the woman has come into contact with any drugs on her visit to the Caribbean.
It's come up as positive for contact with cocaine. So I'll ask the lady now, she can explain why that would be in her case. I'll just ask her a few more questions now. OK, madam, that machine test has come up positive for contact with cocaine. Is there any reason, as I say, ask again, do you use cocaine or does your friend use cocaine as far as you're aware?
The woman gets tearful, which raises John's suspicions even further.
But you don't use it, you're certain about that? OK. Well, because of that, it means I do need to turn it out and have a quick look inside it, OK? Don't worry, don't get upset. Don't worry.
They put something in my bag.
Well, let's see. How long have you known your friend?
Not very long.
OK. And how do you know him? From where?
I met him in London. He lived in London and he just moved there with a business and he looks like he's really having a business and he's a respected person. I don't know.
OK.
Clearly, the woman doesn't know her male friend very well. John has further doubts about her story.
Has he forced you to bring anything here?
No.
Are you sure? Because now's the time to let me know.
He hasn't given me anything. Like, he hasn't told me anything to carry with him for him.
Right, just have a quick scan through the X-ray. It's just at the end of the hall there, so if you just wait for me and have a look what I'm doing, you just stay there. She's tearful, and she seems quite nervous. And she said one comment that got me a bit interested. She said, "Oh, God, I hope he hasn't put anything in my bag," which is an odd thing for somebody to say.
The X-ray of the bag will show if the woman knows more than she's letting on.
The case doesn't appear to have any concealments in it. It's very light.
Nothing is found hidden in the suitcase, but Officer John isn't finished with the woman yet.
How come my bag is a reading if there's anything in there?
Well, that's what's intrigued me. That's what's intrigued me.
The mystery behind the high cocaine trace means the search is taken to the next level.
Now, as I say, I've had a look in your bag. I'm satisfied there's nothing in there. I'm quite happy about that. But sometimes people do bring in drugs on their body or inside their body. And what I'd like to do is to do a search, check, my female colleague's going to do that, just to check to see that you're not carrying anything on your body. Because of the high reading and because of where you've come from. That's my concerns. OK?
Despite the woman's tears, she's led away to have a strip search.
Right, if you just want to take a seat for a minute, because I've just got some forms and stuff to fill out, all right?
The woman's shoes are also taken away to be swab tested. Positive traces of drugs found from this test often suggest that the passenger is carrying drugs inside their body.
That's quite a low reading for cocaine on the shoe, not anywhere near what was in the bag. And where she's come from, Trinidad and Tobago, then that maybe isn't an unreasonable background contamination.
Nothing is found during the strip search, and John is happy she's not carrying anything illegal.
Thank you very much for your patience with us, all right? We're happy there that you've got nothing, so you're free to go on your way as soon as you're ready. Thank you. The strip search is very invasive. We wouldn't do that for no reason whatsoever. That's quite a big thing, and obviously she was quite upset by that. We're not going to do a body scan unless it actually is justified, and in this instance that wasn't warranted, so we didn't proceed to that. And I believe that she didn't have any prohibited or restricted goods on her this morning.
At Bristol Airport, holidaymakers have just arrived home from Fuerteventura. Although the Canary Islands are part of the European Union, passengers are strictly limited to bringing back no more than 200 cigarettes. A lone female passenger in a blue top has been observed acting nervously. Border agency officers decide to stop her as she passes through the customs channels.
Hello, madam. Where have you just come from?
Fuerteventura.
Fuerteventura. Just have a quick chat for a second. Are you travelling on your own?
Yes.
Yes. Where are you going back to now? Is this all your luggage?
Yeah.
Packed it yourself?
Yeah.
Are you carrying anything for anybody else?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. You come down the green, nothing to declare channel. Do you understand what your allowances are?
About 3, you know.
All right. Well, I'll tell you the allowance is 200 cigarettes.
200?
That's what you're allowed to bring back.
I thought you were bringing Spanish right back
No,
from Spain.
no. In Spain you can. Fuerteventura is not mainland Spain and is outside of the EU for tax purposes.
Right.
So you can only bring up 200 cigarettes or 250 grams of tobacco. So I take it that you've got in excess of your allowance?
Yeah, I have then, yeah.
Okay.
The woman admits exceeding her allowance, but Officer Mark wants to see how many cigarettes she's carrying.
So do you actually know how many cigarettes you have altogether, or are you not sure?
I don't know whether I bought some on the way out, because you can't always get still cut. And I'm not sure whether they've still got any of them left.
Well, anything you buy on its way out loses its identity anyway, so it counts towards your allowance when you come back in again.
With over 800 cigarettes in her hand luggage, the woman's naivety towards the restrictions doesn't convince.
To be honest, it's the first time I've bought back any cigarettes for ages, you know? I think that's the I've got 5.
Have you got your passport on you there, please?
The suitcase is searched for any remaining cigarettes.
Thank you very much. If you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to do a couple of checks, okay? You can put the clothing back in if you want to, but not the cigarettes. I'll be back in a second.
Mark is pulled aside by a colleague searching another passenger. Suspiciously, her cigarettes are almost identical.
Odd. Where are you going back to now?
Home.
Yeah, kind of guessed that a bit. Where's home? Same area.
There's a whole crowd of women travelling together.
Oh,
This
right.
lady says the bag doesn't belong to her, but she's going to tell me that. I think she's carrying the bag.
Probably, yeah. It's same area.
Officers are starting to think there's a link between the passengers, but will have to investigate further. An investigation is underway into whether 2 suspected cigarette smugglers are linked.
That lady down there,
Yeah.
is that bag that she's carrying yours?
No.
It's not yours?
No, it's not.
And you say you're travelling on your own,
Yeah,
are
I
you?
am. We know each other.
Oh, you do know her?
Well, by sight sort of thing, you know, I'm not on holiday with her.
All right, then, if you just bear with me anyway, just a few checks to do.
Officer Mark goes to check whether the woman has a history of smuggling goods.
So it was last year, Cardiff Airport. And 2006, so it must have been again from...
The database reveals the woman has had goods seized on more than one occasion.
Have you ever had problems with customs or border controls before? You've had goods taken before? Seized?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, where was that or when was that?
Yeah.
Here? What, in Bristol?
Yeah.
Here?
I think.
But you don't know how long ago?
No, I don't.
Roughly?
No, I don't, because I just haven't bought any duty-free back for a long time.
But your goods seized last year?
Last year?
Yeah, at Cardiff Airport. 2,000 cigarettes.
Was it only last year?
It was, yes.
Well,
And at the time you had 2,000 cigarettes seized, so you must have known what the allowances were. You must have inquired why you'd taken my cigarettes from
I've
me.
been told that it's been, you know, that it's been changed now.
And who told you that?
Well, the people out there that we, you know, can buy cigarettes from in the shops.
You don't think they might have told you that to sort of sell you more
Yeah,
cigarettes,
probably,
perhaps?
probably.
I mean, I know it's a relatively small amount, but obviously you are 6 times
I know.
over the
Sorry.
limit. So
Remember less than.
Whatever the truth, the woman is having her cigarettes seized yet again.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a huge amount of cigarettes, but at the end of the day, she's got 6 times what is the allowance, and she's a previous offender. OK, those receipts from what I've had to take from you. And don't listen to what the people tell you in the shops. It's, all right, then. Thank you for your time, anyway. Cheerio. She knew the lady at the end down there, but said that she wasn't travelling with her. And it begs the question, are they all travelling together, and do all the goods belong to one person? But it doesn't matter, because we've seized the goods anyway.